Hello, my name is Kathy. I want to welcome you to Lesson 3 of Prepositions with CINCILINGUA Live Lessons. Okay, so, whoops, back up just a minute. If you have any questions, if you're live here with us today and you have any questions, if you move your mouse around at the bottom, you should see an icon that looks like this. It says chat. If you click on it, it will open up a white area. And at the bottom of that white rectangle is a place for you to type. And if you type your question in there and hit enter, I will be able to see it. I'm going to save the questions until the end of the lesson. And at the end of the lesson, I will answer as many questions as I can. And if we run out of time for questions, I will answer some questions at the beginning of next lesson. Okay, so today we're doing some prepositions. I want to talk to you about the difference between in and into. In and into both mean interior or inside. In is used for non-motion verbs, and into is used for motion verbs. So the pizza is in a box. That means the pizza is not moving. It's non-motion. It is not moving. The ball went into the hoop. We say into because the ball is moving. In, again, is for non-motion verbs, and into is for motion verbs. And that's true most of the time. There are maybe a few times that we would say in for something that's moving, but into is for motion verbs. And in is usually for non-motion, for not moving. So let's look at these examples again. The pizza is in the box, in, because it's not moving. The ball went into the hoop, into because it is moving. Here are some other examples about in and into. Anne is working in the library. She's not moving, she's in the library. Even if she was going to walk around inside the library, as long as she doesn't move to a new location, we would still say she's in the library, in. She put the letter into the mailbox. Right now it is outside the mailbox, and now it is moving into the mailbox, into. Because it is changing location, it is moving. It was outside, now it's going to be inside. Because it's moving, we say into, into. She is in the library. She's not going outside the library and then back inside the library. She's staying in the library. Right now, Anne is sitting in the library and not moving. But even if she stands up and she walks around, we don't say she is into the library because she already is inside and her location is not changing. So Anne is working in the library. She put the letter into the mailbox. Here are a couple more examples. Shadow is sitting in the bed. He is not moving. He's in the bed. King jumps into the water. He's jumping. He's moving. He was not in the water, and now he's moving into the water. Changing position from not in the water to into the water. He's moving. He's jumping into because it's a motion, a movement verb. Okay, here's the last example, I think, for in and into. The fish swims in the bowl. And I said, this one is confusing because swimming is moving. But the fish began in the bowl and finished in the bowl. So it did not change location. It did not move to a new location. The fish always stayed on the inside of the bowl. So it was kind of moving. It was moving around, but only inside the bowl. If the fish was not in the bowl and then moved and now it is in the bowl, we would say it went into the bowl. But if the fish is just swimming around, and the fish stays inside, we would say the fish swims in the bowl, in the bowl. Okay, the surfer fell into the water. He is moving. At first, he was on top of his surfboard. He was standing up. Then he fell into the water. Not in the water, and then in the water. So he went into the water because he changed his location. In a similar way, we have on and onto. On and onto. We used a lot of examples of in and into. On and onto work the same way. We say on when something is not moving. Your tea is on the table. It's on the table. It's going to stay on the table until you pick it up, but it is on the table. Buddy, that's the name of the dog, Buddy climbed onto the table. He's climbing, that's moving. He's climbing onto the table. Buddy was on the floor. Now Buddy is on the table. He climbed onto the table. He changed his location. He moved onto the table. So on is not motion. Onto shows motion. Okay, again, at the top, it says on and onto. Both indicate surface contact. That means you're touching the top of something. The surface is the top of something, the outside of something, the surface. If I go to the ocean, the top of the water is the surface. If I go swimming and I go down, down, down in the water, and I'm running out of air, I need to get back up to the surface, to the top of the water, so I can put my head out and I can breathe. The surface, the surface. If I talk about the top of the table, that is the surface of the table, the surface. So on and onto indicate surface contact. Contact means touching. So it's touching the top of something. So if you're on the table, you're not at the bottom of the table, you're on the top of the table. Okay. The rabbit is on the grass. It's not down in a hole under the grass. It is on the grass. It's on the top. It has surface contact. It is touching the grass. The rabbit is on the grass. And we say on because it is not moving away from the grass. Even if the rabbit wiggles a little bit, it is still on the grass. It is not changing location to be away from the grass. This rabbit is on the grass and is remaining on the grass. And here, the second example says, I put the rabbit onto her lap. He was moving. At first, the rabbit was not sitting on anyone's legs. The legs of this girl, when you sit down, this part of your legs right there, we call that your lap, your lap. At Christmas time in America, we say that the children like to sit with Santa. Santa sits down on the chair, and then the children sit on top of Santa Claus on his lap to talk to him, to tell him secrets. Well, this rabbit is going to be on the girl's lap, is going to, the rabbit will sit on the girl's legs. And because it was at first maybe on the floor or in a box, in a cage somewhere, now the rabbit is moving location. Now this rabbit is going to be on the girl's legs. So we say it's moving onto her lap, because this top part of your legs is called your lap when you sit down. When you are up walking around, you don't have a lap. Lap is only that area of your body when you are sitting. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I'm going to sneeze. Use me. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, before we move on, one more time. The rabbit is on the grass. The rabbit is moving onto her lap. Okay. So now we need to talk about the difference between on and above or over. On means superior. That means up high, okay, with contact or touching. So up at the top with contact or touching. We said surface contact. Now on, something that is touching, that is superior or up. Above and over means superior with no contact and no touching. So something that is up high, that is at the top of something, if it is touching, it is on. We talked about on the table, on the grass. All of these things can be on. And here the duck swam on the water. The duck is touching the water. It is touching the water. The birds flew over the water, or the birds flew above the water. Over or above the water. The birds were not touching the water. So they are up high. They are near the top of something, but they are not touching. Over or above. If I put something over my head, it's up here, but it is not touching my head. On my head, or can you see my hand? Above or over my head would mean not touching. Fifi, that is the name of the cat. Fifi is on the bed. The cat is touching the bed. She hung the picture over the bed, or she hung the picture above the bed. That means that the picture is not touching the bed. It is up high. It is superior, but it is not touching. So superior, when things are super, that means up. Superior. Let me go back for a minute here. Superior means up high. Go back here. And then this word, interior. Interior means inside. Let's think for just a minute. I don't have it written down here, but interior means inside. What if I say exterior? Can you think of a word in English that begins X with the letter E? X, exterior? Interior means inside. Exterior means outside. If you go through the exit means the door to go out. So if you're going through the exit, you're going to the exterior, you're going to the outside. You can go in a door, and then you can go through the exit to go outside. So we have interior, we have exterior, we have up is superior, and then again, I didn't write it, but this one says interior with a T, interior. If I change this spelling and I change that T to be an F, then I would say inferior. This word that is written down on this page here, this says interior with a T, interior. Inferior with an F. An F means something that is down low. Just like we had these things that were superior, high, the picture is high, superior. Something that would be inferior would be something that would be down low, inferior, superior and inferior. And that also works for talking about things that are good or important. Something that is very good and something that is very important is, here's our word, superior. It is good, it is important, it is superior, and sometimes we even say, oh, it is super It is super, meaning it is great. It is really good. It is super, super. Superior can mean a good thing. Inferior means it's not so good. Sometimes when you buy something and it was not made very well and it breaks very easily, oh, this is inferior. It is not good. But in this case, we're talking about superior, meaning up high. Superior meaning up high. Okay, so above or over, superior, but it's not touching. We already talked a lot about on and onto, on and onto. On is something that is touching the top of something, but above and over both mean something that is not touching, something that is not touching anything. It is up high and it is not touching. Here's another example. The skateboard is on her head. Now that's kind of silly because a skateboard usually is on the ground and your feet are touching the skateboard. But this child is being silly and she put the skateboard on her head. So the skateboard is on her head. It is touching her head. The other children, in the other picture, it says the umbrella is over their heads, or the umbrella is above their heads. The umbrella is up high. The umbrella is kind of covering their heads so they will not get wet, but it is not touching their head. It is superior because it is up high, but it is not touching them. There is no contact, no touching. The umbrella is over their heads. The umbrella is above their heads. This word over and the word above, they mean the same thing in this sentence. The umbrella is over their heads. The umbrella is above their heads. The umbrella is up high and it is not touching them. Now we're going to talk about things that are not superior, but here we go. Inferior, inferior. Remember I said superior is up high. Inferior can mean down low. Super and superior can mean really very good. Inferior can mean not very good. But in this particular case, we're not talking about good or bad. We're talking about something that is down. So below and under both mean inferior position. They mean something that is down. It is not always true, but I feel like below means not touching. Under can mean either touching or not touching. The man is under many boxes. These boxes are touching him. He is under many boxes. The boxes are up high. The man is down. The man is inferior. The man is at the bottom, and the boxes are above him. The boxes are touching him. And so the man is under the boxes because the man is down low. Here, this girl, I am not sure why she has this paint on her face, but this girl climbed under the tree branch, or the girl climbed below the tree branch. Both of these words can work there. She climbed under the tree branch. She climbed below the tree branch. The branch is not touching her head. So I feel like it is okay to use below here. It's not very, very clear, but I think if something is touching, probably I would not use the word below. Probably if it is touching, I can see here her hand is touching. Her hand is touching, but I'm not talking, she is going under the tree branch. The girl is under the tree branch. The girl is below the tree branch. The tree branch is not touching the top of the girl. The girl is down, but she's not touching the thing that is over her, that is above her. So I would say below, or I could say under here. For this man, it's possible to say he is below the boxes, but I don't think that's very usual. I think because the boxes are touching him, it's more usual to say that he is under the boxes, under the boxes. Okay, so again, below and under both mean inferior, down position. And again, I think below means not touching, and under can either mean touching or not touching. So this person, it's a little bit hard to tell. These people are sitting around a fire, and up in the sky, you can see the stars. And it says, I love to camp out under the stars. I love to camp out below the stars. And to camp out. When you go to sleep outside, sometimes people will take only a sleeping bag. A sleeping bag is a little bit like a blanket, but you can close it. It has a zipper that it will close. Sometimes people will take a sleeping bag and they will sleep on the ground with a sleeping bag, and they will just love to open their eyes and look at all of the stars and camp out under the stars or camp out below the stars. Other times when you are camping, you sit at the fire, you look at the stars, you enjoy the stars, but just in case it's raining or to stay away from the bugs, people will have a tent that they put up. And a tent is a small house that is made out of fabric. And usually there is a zipper. You open the zipper, you pull back the fabric, and you climb into the tent, and you sleep in your sleeping bag, and you camp out. But often one reason that people like to camp out, if they sleep in a tent or if they sleep on the ground, is because they love nature and they want to see beautiful things like the stars and the trees, and just enjoy being where they can feel the wind touching them. So I love to camp out under the stars. I love to camp out below the stars. In this case, usually we say under the stars. They are below the stars and the stars are not touching them. But the most common sentence that we would use about being down and the stars are up is under the stars. We want to sleep under the stars. We want to camp out under the stars. And so if we say that this is a slide here on a playground, one of the kind of equipment toys that children can play on is a slide. So the girls are sitting here and they're holding on. If the girls take their hands away, then they can slide down the slide and they would go around and down and around and down. And this person at the bottom, Jackie, we see that Jackie slid. So now Jackie is down below the girls, or Jackie is under the girls. Jackie slid below the girls or slid under the girls, slid on the slide to go down. And now Jackie is below, not touching, below the girls or under the girls. The girls are up high, superior. Jackie is down at the bottom, inferior, inferior, and superior. And do you remember the ones that were for inside and outside? Interior is when you are in. And then if we think about what is the name of the door that goes to the outside? The exit. So you can go the interior or the exterior. The exterior is outside. Okay, let's do a review here. We had the difference between in and into. In and into. Both of them mean interior. Both of them mean inside. If you are inside and you are not moving to a new location, then we say in. If you are coming inside, then you're going into. You go into the room, you throw something into the waste can, the basketball went into the hoop, the dog jumped into the water, he was not in the water, and then he changed his position to be in the water, so he jumped into the water. The basketball was not going. This round thing is the hoop. The basketball was not in the hoop, and then it was going to be in the hoop, so we said it went into. It is changing position from being not inside to now you are inside. That's when we say into, when you are moving from not outside to inside. For example, we talked about the fish. The fish stays inside of that bowl. The fish begins inside. The fish finishes inside. The fish is moving, but the fish is not changing from outside of the bowl to inside of the bowl. The fish begins on the inside. The fish ends on the inside. So we would use this word in. The fish is in the fish bowl. Same thing with the girl that was in the library. Remember? She is in the library because at the beginning of our story, she is inside the library. At the end of the story, she is still in the library. She did not change her location to go through the exit. She didn't go out the exit to the outside and then come back in to come inside the library. She was already inside and she stayed in. And so we would say about that girl that she is in the library, in, because she did not change her location. She did not move. But if she is outside and she opens the door, she can come into the library. She's changing her position. She's moving. She was outside. She was in the exterior. And now she's coming to the interior. All right, so that was in and into. Similar thing here for on and onto. Surface contact, meaning on the outside, on the top, on the outside of something. On is for not moving. Something like the dog sits on the table. Or even a plant. A plant cannot really sit down. A plant is not alive in a way that it can bend legs and sit down. But sometimes we use those words to say that the plant sits on the table. The plant belongs on the table. It is not moving. It is just staying on the table. It was on the table. It's going to continue to be on the table. So it is on. When something is away from the table and then it moves and now it is going to be on the table, it is going onto. Can you put that plate onto the table? It's not on the table now, but we're going to put it on the table. So put it onto the table. Onto. Something that is moving is onto. Just like into is moving, onto is also moving. And then the difference between something being on or something that is above or over. Okay. It can be on my head, touching my head, or it can be above my head or over my head. Above, over, not touching, on, touching. And the things that are on or above or over, those things are up. They are superior position. Okay? It's on my head. It's not down here. This is not on my head because that's not up. This is on my head. This would be under. On my head, under. Because on is up high. It's superior. And on is superior position with contact. Contact means touching. So superior with touching, on. Superior, up high, not touching. We can say above, or we can say over. Above or over. When something is inferior, it is down. Inferior. Something that is down. It can be below or it can be under. Below or under. And it is not as clear whether below or under has touching or not touching to me, and it's only me. To me, I feel like touching could be under and not touching can be below, and it can also be under. Below and under. Okay. The examples that we have here, we have in the room or in the library. Remember, somebody is already inside that room and they're not leaving and coming back in the room. Throw it into the waste can. You throw something and it is not inside of the trash can. It is not inside the waste can, and we throw it and then it goes into. Something sits on the table, but an animal or a child or someone jumped onto the bed. Was not on the bed and jumped onto the bed. Now they are on the bed. on top of the TV. Where is my telephone? Where are my glasses? Oh, they are on top of the TV. They are up high. They are on. They are touching the TV. Okay. Over the rainbow. There's a famous song in English, Over the Rainbow, talking about wouldn't it be wonderful if we could go up in the sky and see the beautiful things that are up in the sky that are so high that they are above the rainbow, over the rainbow. And then the last one, below and under, below the sea or under the sea. If you go in the ocean and you go down, you go below the sea because that's inferior or down. And the question. I told you sometimes people have questions. This is a great question. Someone was asking, let me see if I don't know if it will show up on the screen or not though. If I put in the chat here, this word, beneath. I don't know if you can see this on your chat or not. I have it on my chat, beneath. B-E-N-E-A-T-H, beneath. Beneath. Beneath is another word that means like below or under. Someone was asking about beneath. And if you are beneath, you can have a blanket and you pull the blanket up and your body is underneath the blanket and the blanket is on top of you. You are beneath the blanket or beneath. Sometimes we say covers for a blanket. You're beneath the covers. You could crawl beneath the table, under the table, beneath. Beneath means the same. You are correct. Beneath means the same as below or under, but below and under, especially under, I want to say is very common. The word under, we use under very, very often. Below, we use some. Beneath, we use beneath a little bit. But that question about beneath was a very good question because beneath and below and under all mean inferior, down position instead of superior position. Okay, so below, under, and we can add the word beneath. Very good question. Thanks for asking that. Okay. And so I just want to thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that I will see you again next time for CINCILINGUA live lessons. Thanks for coming. Have a great day and a wonderful evening.